Hey guys, it's Tanika and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this look here featuring my favorite products over the last month or so. Most of the products I use today are drugstore, so can I get an amen for that? Before we get into the video, as I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to start doing some subscriber shout outs, and today is the first one. So my first shout out goes to my girl Amber. She has been a part of my channel from almost the beginning, I would say. She is so supportive, always leaves me the most lovely comments, and always has heaps of recommendations for me as well. So thank you so much for supporting me. You are the absolute best. If you would like to be the next subscriber shout out, make sure you leave me a comment, let me know you've subscribed, you've got the notification bell on, whatever it is, I don't mind. It could be you. Alright, well, if you want to see how I got this look using some of my favorite products over the last month, then give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. Alright, so starting off with primer, I have been loving this Master Prime Hydrating Primer by Maybelline. As you would know, I'm usually more into anti-redness primers just to dull down the situation, but because we are in winter in Australia at the moment, I've been loving this hydrating primer. It just gives a nice boost of hydration to the skin and it leaves it feeling really smooth and soft. And then another product by Maybelline I have been loving lately is the Master Camo Color Corrector. And of course, this is in the green shade. So this one does come with a sponge tip applicator and you wind the product up and then you can go ahead and apply it to your face. I still prefer to use a brush because I don't want to contaminate this with any germs or bacteria from my pimples. The next product I have been absolutely obsessed with, and this is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and I have the lightest shade Chantilly. Now I haven't been using this concealer under my eyes, instead I've been using it to conceal my blemishes. If my breakouts aren't too bad, I don't really need to go in with a green concealer. This has enough coverage in it that it can just cover up the redness from my breakout. But if my breakouts are really bad, like the ones I have today, then I'll definitely go in with a green concealer first, because it does have enough coverage that it does the job. So I just like to use a brush to apply this. You can use your fingers as well if you like. A little bit goes a really long way, so I just dip in a few times and then use this amount I have to pretty much go over all my blemishes. Now this concealer is quite expensive. I think it's just over $40, which, you know, is quite up there, but it is well worth it because you only need to use a small amount and it has great full coverage. Onto foundation, and you can probably guess which one has been my favorite lately. It is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. So I have two shades here. I have 102 Fair Porcelain and 110 Porcelain. These shades aren't available in Australia. I did pick them up from eBay. So if I can find it, I will link the seller down below. So 102 is more pink tone and 110 is more neutral. But 110 can be a little bit too dark, so I like to mix them together. I do 2 pumps of 110 and then about half a pump of 102 and then just mix that together. A beauty blender or a brush both work fine to blend this out. I prefer using a brush. This one is the Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki, and what I'm going to do is get my Fix Plus and just slightly dampen the bristles. I'm just finding it's really helping to blend out more full coverage foundations. So just give it a little spritz and then tap it on the back of my hand. I do have a full review video on this foundation, so I will link that down below. But just quickly, I love that even though it's super full coverage, it doesn't feel really heavy on the skin. It's very lightweight and it is so long lasting. I have just been wearing it non-stop. I'm definitely going to have to stock up soon because I'm about halfway done with both these bottles. And then once I've applied it with the brush, I like to go over the top with my beauty blender and I just dip that into any leftover product on my palette. And I just like to go over my face to make sure there are no streak marks and everything just looks nice and flawless. Alright, onto my favourite concealer. I cannot put down the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. So as you would know, I picked up the new lightest shades in the range, and 04 has been my absolute go-to. Now they do still oxidize a little, but it's not crazy that I can't use it. It's just a smidgy, so I can still get away with it. So this concealer is more of a medium coverage. It's definitely not full in my opinion. It's super lightweight and it just leaves a really beautiful finish. If I do want more of a brightening effect under the eyes, I also have the shade 02. Now this is really fair. So I just go in with a tiny little bit on my inner corners and blend that out, and it does a really great job at further brightening my under eyes. And then for powder, I have been loving my Models Prefer Mineral Finishing Veil, and I probably just have enough left for this makeup look. So I love this one because it sets everything in place without feeling cakey. I hate when a powder makes my under eyes feel like really tight and almost crusty. Is that the right word to describe it? It's a super light color and it just sets your makeup in place all day and leaves a really nice smooth finish. Alright, I have literally scooped up every last bit. For bronzers, I haven't really had a favorite this month. I've just kind of been dipping into everything in my collection. So today I'm just going to go in with my Rimmel Sun Shimmer Bronzer in the shade Light Matte. And then for blush, I have been obsessed with the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Coral. Now, I'm not into trying out new blushes all the time. It's not my favorite category, but this one here I am loving because it's super light, as in it's not really pigmented, so you just build it up to the intensity that you're after. It also has a really beautiful sheen to it, so it leaves your skin looking a little bit glowy without looking like crazy glittery. You know what I mean? It just leaves a really nice flush of color, and I have been using it pretty much every single day. For highlighter, I have dipped back into my Too Faced Love Light highlighter in the shade Blinded by the Light. So as I said, I've been dipping back into some old highlighters and I have fallen back in love with this one. I really love this one because it's such a beautiful shade for fair skin. I find it doesn't really have that strong like pink or gold undertone. It's quite neutral, so it just works really well, and you can build it up to be a blinding highlight, or if you don't want it to be so strong, apply it lightly and it's nice and subtle. Of course, I'm going to build it up because I'm dramatic like that. Moving on to brows, believe it or not, I have changed to a pomade. I have been a powder brow girl for as long as I can remember. It has just been my favorite way to draw on my eyebrows, but this product here by Revolution Pro, it's changed me. So this is just the Revolution Pro Brow Pomade in the shade Blonde, and it does look quite dark in the little pot here, but it's not that dark. The only thing I don't like about brow pomades is how they dry out quite quickly. So what I've been doing is just making sure my fingers are clean and just sticking it in and warming up the, that sounds really bad. Let's start again. I've just been using my finger to warm up the product. As I said, doing that just helps to warm up the product, and I find it's a lot easier to work with. It glides on really smoothly. Clearly, I don't have a lot going on in the natural eyebrow department, so I like this product because you can go from something natural to something really dramatic depending on how much you apply. And then to set the brows in place, I still cannot put down my Essence Make Me Brow. It's just so good at grabbing onto the little amount of hairs that I have and making them look more full and bushy. Not really bushy, but it looks like I've got a bit of something going on. Okay, so moving on to the eyes, I have been loving my Colourpop and Shayla Perception palette. First of all, this packaging is just beautiful. I love the gold splatters, they're just so pretty. This is my first time trying out Colourpop eyeshadows, and I am so impressed. They work so well, they are super pigmented, they blend out easily. I am just so impressed. Like, for the price of this, I think it was like $23 or something. Like, oh, amazing. I haven't tried any of their other eyeshadow palettes out, but if they're all the same formula as this, then I have just prepped my eyelids with some concealer, and to start off, I'm going in with this shade here called Culture. I'm not going to do anything crazy today, just something light and neutral, as I always say, and then it always ends up being crazy. To keep this neutral, I think I'm just going to go in with one of my Makeup Geek shadows to blend out the edges, because this is the lightest matte shade in the palette. I'm just going to use this shade here called Peach Smoothie. So I've gone ahead and put that under the lower lash line as well, and then I'm going in with the shade Strut and Slay, and I'm going to pop this all over the lid. That is a lot more red than I thought, so I'm just going to take this shade here. This one's called Spill the Tea, and I'm going to go over the top of that. And then to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone, I'm going in with the shade Unbothered. Instead of using an eyeliner, I'm going to go in with this shade here. This one's called Played Out, and I'm using that on my Sigma Flat Definer brush, and I'm going to use this to smoke out my upper lash line. I'm not going to go in with false lashes today, just mascara, and the one that I have been loving is the Maybelline Big Shot Colossal Mascara. Look, I know this isn't the most natural eye look in the world, but I think I did pretty good for not going overboard. Like, come on. And then lastly for lips, I have been loving the NYX Love Out Loud liquid lipstick in the shade Confident. I just picked these up from Priceline on a whim. I thought the colors were really nice, so I picked up 2 to try, and the formula is super comfortable. It's not one of those really tight and drying liquid lipsticks. It has a really nice creamy formula. It's easy to work with, super opaque, and it dries down really comfortably. When I first apply it, I always think like, oh my god, it looks too nude, but as it dries, it kind of gets a little bit darker. And then I've just got to add my favorite accessory, which is a pair of hoops, and I'm done. What do you guys think of my hair as well? It is naturally curly, but I'm finding it hard for my curls to come back. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I used like this spray and just kind of scrunched it up, and look how curly it is. I love it. Alright, well that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching today and hearing about my favorite products lately. Leave me a comment below letting me know what your favorite products are. Make sure you leave me a comment below letting me know what your favorite product of the month has been. I hope you're all having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!